It's time to get your geek on with Dave Vermillion.
Scott, we simply could not be happier that you are on here with us here on Freedom 1160 and freedom1160.com. How you doing out there?
I'm doing great, and I love any interview that starts with a theme to that TV show because it's one of my favorites of all time.
It's catchy. I binged the series in a matter of weeks, and man, I was humming that theme song. I think I'm still humming that theme song. It gets in your head, and it does not let go.
Yeah, you know what? I've known Seth MacFarlane for about 15, 20 years now, long before we ever worked together, and we always played this game just, kind of growing up, that we, like the theme song to TV show game where, and we didn't know who was better because we're both really good at that game. So when the show finally came on, he was like, Scotty, I'm going to do a theme that throws back a bit to the old themes that him and I always kind of grew up with, that we love, whether it's a sitcom or a drama. So when that theme came on, I'm like, he nailed it. He nailed exactly my childhood growing up and all the great themes I loved.
It's beautiful. I want to start my fist pump and I want to march around my living room.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's right? Beautiful. Now, your career, just in the last decade, Family Guy, Robin Hood, American Dad, The Orville, NCIS, and so on and so on. I could keep going, but we got a time limit here. Your career travels from a studio to doing voice work to shooting on location in incredible places. What has the variety of these experiences taught you?
Well, first of all, it's like being a rock star. You get to see the world. You get to meet people, and I was born to like people. So it's kind of really neat that I'm in a job where my whole life is meeting people and traveling places and all that. It's a gift, man. I mean, it might not be for everybody, but for me, who was pulling my parents' arms to, come on, we're going to New York. Come on, we're going to L.A. Come on, we're going here. It couldn't have been better. I wasn't pushed into this at all. So. It's just been great to just meet people, mankind, see the world, and how it's a crappy time right now for a lot of people, but the world is a great place, man, and there's some really great people in it. So I've had the great opportunity my whole life to see it and meet all these great people.
That's outstanding. I think it's a dream for a lot of people to just travel and see and experience and meet people who just think a different way than everybody else does.
Right, exactly.
It's a great experience.
I've been really, man, I'll tell you. I want to write a book someday. I'm not really a writer, so I probably grab my dad, who's a great writer, and help tell the things about my life that no one even knows about. Just these lucky experiences of, like, I toured with Bob Hope for a couple of years. I sang in front of kings and queens just because I was a singer. But those are little known things. So when I say how lucky I've been, I'm telling you stuff that you don't even know where I found myself in this world, and it's been pretty great.
Okay, so give us one. I mean, that's a softball over the plate. I can't let that go by. Give me one little thing that nobody knows that you just got to tell.
Well,
we are on radio, so we got to keep it somewhat appropriate.
Oh no, of course. A timely thing was the fact that I got to sing and meet Michael Jackson, which is very strange that all this is going on right now. And I had when he was making the Smooth Criminal video, he had heard me sing somewhere on a record that I had made for A&M Records. And he invited me to the set to kind of meet him and say hello. And then I ended up doing this charity event with him for Herbalife years and years later, or a year later. So that's a little known thing that I got to spend I was about 15 years old, work with Michael Jackson, which was pretty amazing at the time. Now everybody's watched this thing and whatever. But that to me was a big highlight to my career, and obviously Bob Hope, and Elizabeth Taylor. I mean, let me say this real quick. I started on Broadway in 1982 on a show called Nine. And I started it, and we won Best Musical a couple weeks later. So that's my introduction to the business, was to all of a sudden win the Tony Award for Best Musical. And the celebrities that I got to meet every single night as a 10-year-old kid, every night was either Robin Williams and Al Pacino. So the beginning of my career was just like out of the gate exciting.
Okay, you were dropping so many names right now. I think I will drop through the floor right now. I mean, and some of that's old Hollywood. That's Liz Taylor and Bob Hope. I mean, that's that's incredible. Now, in the beginning of the Orville, now there were some critics and some non-critics out there, and some of us in the studio are starting to raise our hands a little bit, who had some concerns that the show would be too much Family Guy and not enough Star Trek. And you can kind of see that in the first few episodes, but now the show has blossomed into it's got to be one of the best shows on television, with a terrific blend of both that humor and that sci-fi storytelling. How do y'all balance the humor and the story?
Well, it's a little bit of luck, first of all, because you can't do a TV show and get it right immediately. It's a lot of Seth, kind of. We made this show the first season. I remember Jon Favreau, who directed the pilot, saying, "Guys, we're either going to fail miserably or it's going to be a success." And that first season, you can see us kind of trying to figure out. Seth really wanted it to be intelligent science fiction, but the network, didn't really. They thought it should be funnier, given the fact that it's Seth MacFarlane at the helm. But I think when they saw how good it was becoming towards the end, especially with the storylines, they gave Seth free rein for the second season to kind of balance that better for what he wanted to do. So I will say it was a little bit of luck, but also, thank God for the second season, because most people don't get a second season to kind of try and make the show that he wanted to make. And I definitely think we've accomplished that. And I'm just such a big fan of what he writes every day and what I get to see and get to do. But you're right. It was a tough go at first, because everyone was like, "Wait, should I laugh at this, or should I take this seriously as great science fiction?" And I think we found it.
Yeah, the first real moment that I had that laugh out loud moment was it was in the pilot, and there were some chuckles here and there, but the one where I laughed out loud the most was first it was the banana. And how we no longer need to fear the banana. But then it was the pizza party joke. "Oh, Captain, can we go? It's a pizza party. Oh, can we go down, please, please, please?" That got me rolling.
And you make that's the point. That first season that I was very scared when we made the second season, because my whole job in the first season really was to inject humor into really serious situations. So here they're down there, they're being held hostage. And then you cut to a shot of Gordon, who says this, "Oh my God, I'm gonna go down. It's a pizza party." So when I found out, when I knew we were going a little bit more towards a serious thing, I was really hoping that Seth could find a place for me, and I'm lucky that I still get to say the funny stuff, but it's not stupid anymore.
Right.
It doesn't completely take you out. It's not like Airplane anymore, where there's a goofy comment in the midst of this drama. So I got lucky.
Now, Scott, this is Goose. Because I'm a Star Trek fan, and because I set through Star Trek: The Next Generation, I give a show a 2-season rule if I'm interested. So basically, if it gets through 2 seasons and I see they're making effort and really trying to push the envelope, I'm going to stick around. And I've got to tell you, in season 2, the 2-parter and the 2 Gordon-centric episodes following that is enough to get me hooked alone.
Oh, wow. Thanks, man.
Yeah, this last one was really something else. I guess you could say your first real featured episode, and it was so beautifully written after I watched it, I immediately got on Facebook and I was like, this is the show to watch. It has to be.
Yeah, and I was a little nervous because we had come off of these big, action-packed episodes, and then to want to then kind of force the audience to be in this love kind of story. Mm-hmm. I was nervous. I was like, I thought they were going to, but the reaction to that episode, man, just shows how great our fans are, because they really like the characters that live on this ship as well. So it's not just, hey, let me have explosions, let me have fight scenes. It's, we care about these characters. So I'm telling you, man, I was sitting next to my daughter, and I'm on Twitter, and when an Orville episode is on, I turn my Twitter on, and you know, I got a couple hundred remarks. This was an explosion of comments, and all great too. Like, people were really nice. I couldn't believe it.
I know, on Twitter, right?
Yeah, on Twitter. And, I get the occasional reference to Danny Bonaducci, but hey, man, that's fine.
We're speaking with Scott Grimes here on Get Your Geek on Freedom 1160 and freedom1160.com. Scott, let's cut right to the heart of the matter. Let's get serious and ask you the tough questions. These were softballs before. Who is the funniest person when the director says cut, and why is it Seth MacFarlane?
Wait, who's the funniest person?
When the director says cut, when it's between takes, who's the funniest person, and why is it Seth MacFarlane?
Seth, Seth's not. Remember, Seth wears 1,200 hats on this show. I believe it's my job to be the funniest person when the director says cut, because I'm trying to lighten him up. I'm trying to lighten the mood up. Jay Lee and I, Jay Lee plays John Lamar, tend to have a little kind of yuck wit on keep the crew having fun and everybody. Seth's just so serious all the time because he's looking at the shots and he's with the writing and then he's directing. He basically, co-directs every episode. So I would say that would be it.
Now with your voice and his, both of y'all are renowned singers. Have y'all ever done like a karaoke night with the crew of the Orville? Have y'all ever done something like that after a day of shooting?
We don't do that. Well, Seth MacFarlane's version of karaoke is hiring a 70-piece orchestra at his house for a party. So let me tell you that. And it's beautiful. He puts he carpets the tennis court and then has a 70-piece orchestra there, and you can, he sings all sorts of songs. So that's his version of karaoke. There used to be, when you first met Seth, we would go to this place, it was called in Hollywood, and we would always do karaoke. But right now we don't. The only game we still play the in-between takes in our little kind of cast room that we have where we all sit and chill. Seth and I still play the music game of what movie is this from, what TV show is this from, still to this day.
Like the scene in The Natural, if you've seen that one with Robert Redford, and the two managers are sitting in the dugout while the guys are doing serious practice, but they're so good at it by now that they're just like, all right, let's play a theme song game.
Yep, that's exactly what we do. I'll tell you, it really, the cast doesn't like it. They're sick of Seth and I doing it.
Who wins? More often than not.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to be that guy. I would say Seth has a little bit on me on that because he knows, he knows a lot of the older movies as well, the classics, the Broadway, the things, and that kind of gets me. He kind of wins because of that, because we've taken it to a whole new level of that,
Now, cameos on the show have included Liam Neeson, Robert Picardo a couple of times, Charlize Theron, Rob Lowe, and so on. Now Leighton Meester as well. But if let's say Seth turns to you and says, all right, we're going to have a slot for a cameo. If you could pick any one person to be in a cameo on the Orville, who would you want?
They have to be alive, I'm assuming, yes.
That would help, yes. We're going to roll with that one.
Yeah. Well, you never know. Sometimes they go alive or dead. Who would you want to meet? I would say, because we've been trying, again, not name dropping. One of my best friends for the last 20 years has been Russell Crowe. We've worked together many times. And now Seth has just worked with him, so he gets it. So Seth really, we've been trying this last season to get something for Russell, but it has to be a meaty, and I think he should play an alien. So I would say Russell Crowe. Outstanding.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Russell Crowe. Could he be possibly like some type of a cop on a vendetta who is trying to track this person down who did a minor crime? I don't know where I'm getting these ideas from. I don't
know. That's so original.
I know, right? And I'm pulling this right out of the air too, making it up as I go.
That's amazing.
Now we have time for one more. We're speaking with Scott Grimes here of the Orville here on Freedom 1160 and Get Your Geek On, and we left this one open to the fans. We put this out there on Facebook and on Twitter, and we just picked one that we really liked, and there were a bunch of them actually, but this one comes from Kev Laws, and I got to ask this one. This one's a good one. Any chance that there might be a nod to the Critters franchise or some type of crossover in the Orville?
Okay, so if this was the first season, and you asked me that question, I'd say, sure, why not? Why can't we go to wherever they're from, and there's a little thing in the corner. But now that I love this show so much, and people are taking it seriously, as are we. I would say that would be a huge jump the shark moment. So I'll say this. Season 17, sure.
Beautiful.
Then,
I love he's looking long range.
Yeah, before then, we're kind of we're jumping the shark if we do it anytime before season 17.
Boy, talk about job security. That'd be nice to be able to look that far down the road.
Please. I know.
Outstanding. All right. Well, Scott, we want to thank you for taking the time out to speak to us here. We know y'all are busy. We're crossing our fingers and knocking on wood for a season 3 renewal news anytime now. But we want to. Oh, we're hoping. But want to thank you for taking the time out here, and we'll have to have you back on the show, man. This is a lot of fun.
Anytime you guys want. I love you guys, and I appreciate you watching the show and talking about it.